Hello Cardfighters, Chris here. We're back with another tips and tricks video. This one I thought of when I was playing in locals this week. Had a situation where my opponent, it was at the end of the game, things were getting really close. My opponent survived my push that I was hoping would kill him, but he had like very few cards in hand, but he was playing Pale Moon. So he got his turn, and of course he used his Pale Moon skills, called the full board, and I'm like, oh no, like I need to take some of these hits. I think I was at 4 damage, like, I need to take some of these hits or it's gonna kill me. And the question is he gonna get a crit or not, because that's gonna like really be a big deal. So the lesson for today is count your opponent's triggers. Either that's keeping track of them through the game, which is something I'm terrible at, something I can get better. If you guys are really good at that, props to you. I'm not. So those of us who aren't, both of us, we can work on that, getting better at keeping track of it throughout the game. But I was able to look through his drop zone, his soul, his damage zone. You can see all of that, and he had very few cards in hand. So I basically had, I could basically see everything that was out of his deck, and he had 8 criticals out of his deck. So I was like, okay, his 8 criticals out of his deck. I didn't bother counting the other triggers. I probably should have, but I figured he's probably only running 8 criticals. So I can probably no guard Vanguard, probably be okay there. So we'll no guard Vanguard, and then I should be able to guard the rest of the attacks. So I guard an attack, take Vanguard attack. Certainly he gets no triggers. I may have even counted 6. I think later someone counted he had no triggers left, but all I cared is he didn't get a critical. So he didn't get the critical. So we were able to survive that turn because we counted his triggers and we guessed at the opponent's trigger ratios that they were only going to run 8 crits. So that's kind of my lesson, I guess, because I was able to get my turn and I was able to clutch out the game because he didn't hit any triggers. He didn't hit any critical triggers, which I was counting for. So there's actually kind of 2 lessons in here, right? There are 2 tips, and the first is pay attention to your opponent's triggers. That's going to tell you what their attack pattern might be, if they have stands left that you have to watch out for, if they have crits you have to watch out for, which one is going to be more important to be scared of or to play around. So those are things are really important to think about. But the other way is you can think about it as a deck pointing tip, that you might not always want to use the standard ratios, like the standard 8 crit 4 draw, or the standard 6 stand and 6 crit, like that kind of thing, because your opponent might make assumptions about how your trigger lineup is and they could be wrong. So for example, if that guy that I've been playing and he had some draw triggers in his deck, I didn't see any stand triggers. I don't know if that would have changed anything. But if he had been playing, say, like 10 criticals and 2 draws rather than what I assumed was 8 critical 4 draw, then he would have still had 2 critical triggers left in deck, and that could have been a really big problem for me. So that's a short little lesson, 2-part lesson. Count your opponent's triggers, know and make guesses about what their trigger lineup are. That can give you, an advantage in guarding. And also think about whether you want to trick up your opponent by playing different trigger ratios or just playing different trigger arts to make your opponent think you might have something that isn't what you have. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this. Have any questions, any comments, put them down below. If there are any tips for the viewers, definitely put those down in the comments too. Thanks to the patrons on Patreon for helping this out. If you want to be like them, head over to the Patreon, which is going to be easy if you wait for the end slate and hit that orange P. Again, thanks for watching. Keep on learning, keep on having fun, and I'll see you in another video.